Okay, kia ora whānau. Welcome back to Kai Tak Mā Kai. I'm here in my mara and I just want to talk about Māori. Mauri is one of the principles of huapare kore. It's a Māori organic kaupapa and it's based out of Te Waka Kaiora. You can see them online. They go through a certification process of registering either commercial growers or private landowners or homeowners or backyard gardens like ourselves through a process over 3 years of organic certification. I just want to talk about Māori. So Māori is one of the principles, and for me it's quite a crucial one because I'm always thinking about how that works and what I need to do in the type of season that we're at. And so for me, if you look up the Williams Dictionary, Māori in its simple form means life force. But Māori is everything to do around the ability for something to survive and the process that you give to it for it to live, and how you might extend or draw in. And so if you think of the moon cycle, so Whiro is the first day of the Māori, or the first phase of the Māori calendar, and Whiro is kore, you can't see the moon. Then you have Rākau Nui, which is when it's full moon we have, and then it goes back down to Whiro. And so there's a principle of thinking about our environment, te Aotearoa, and how we look after our gardens from a Māori perspective. So from Whiro to Rākau Nui, there's this idea that the moon is pulling things towards itself, and then when it's going the other way, coming back down to Whiro, it's releasing. And so this extracting Māori and pushing Māori back. And a quick way to see as an exemplar of that is if you're pruning your trees and you see sap or it's toto or tarako. If you see sap coming out, then you're in a phase where the Māori is being drawn up out of the soil into the plants. And so that, for example, that time of the moon cycle or season or phase that we're in is not actually a good time to prune. You would want to do it the other way because in effect the energy is going back down into the root system, back down into the soil. And so there's this up and coming down. And so in regards to Māori and how the cycle works and the influence for me in my garden is I'm just thinking through, firstly, what's happening. You have to observe what's happening in your garden, what's happening in the mara, where are things at, what do the plants look like, what are the colours of the leaves, what are the birds doing in relationship to the mara. And so as I'm watching it, also then I'm thinking about, okay, where are we at in the lunar cycle? And so for me, my key pointers now is Whiro, Rākau Nui, and back down to Whiro. But I also look at the first quarter and last quarter. And so you'll see that in the last quarter, the moon's in Te Tonga, and the first quarter, the moon's sitting in the north, or is it the Nota, the Raki, and that kind of north position. And so those two quarters or phase introductions tell me something about what's happening in the soil and what I need to do. So I'll leave my pruning to this part of the year, the time of the calendar, which is the tangaroa phase, where everything's going back down into it. And so there's this up and down. And sometimes we feel this as people, when we're thinking about the cycle of the moon and the moon phases, and that the maramataka Māori, wherever we're at, sometimes even our own peaks and flows and energy fields and the wairu inside of us, we feel this difference. And so sometimes we're feeling a bit glum. I think it may be associated with where things are at, and or you haven't put good nutrients back into your cycle, your life, good foods and things like that, which you need to have. And so if you break that cycle by not putting good things into the soil, the Māori will keep coming up, but eventually there'll be nothing in there, and therefore the plants die, or the trees die and wither up because they don't have it, the good stuff. Yeah, all right. So that's a little bit about Mauri. The principle of feeding, nurturing, putting things into the soil, in order that the moon cycles that we have and the phases that we go through over our seasonal phases, our calendar phases, our monthly phases, we're able to make sure that we're managing our mara in the appropriate way, or te ao tūroa in a way that's in line with how God had created it. All right, okay, hey, good night. Awesome.